Since the beginning of 2023, we have gotten the release of some incredible chapters of certain manga, and so far it has really just been banger after banger from these specific series I'm going to be talking about in this video. Now there are a lot of manga coming out right now, probably the most ever, so it's obviously difficult to pick out of the bunch that are out there, especially considering that I barely even read a lot of the manga out there, including a lot of the popular ones like Hunter x Hunter and Chainsaw Man, which I'm still not caught up on. Okay, I know it's crazy that I'm not caught up to Chainsaw Man. It's literally one of the most popular manga out right now, and the anime was crazy. I enjoy the story a lot, but I'm still not caught up with it for some weird reason. Okay, I don't know why. I'm gonna get caught up with it eventually and probably make a video on that, but as of right now, Chainsaw Man will not be in the video, along with a few other manga that have been releasing chapters weekly in 2023, like Jujutsu Kaisen and whatever other popular manga that's out right now. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you could probably predict a few of the manga I'm going to be talking about in this video, because at the end of the day, these four are kind of just the best of the best, at least in my eyes, not only in 2023 but in general of all the ongoing manga right now. It's a shame that I can't include Berserk because the last chapter was in December and we still haven't even gotten an update as to when the next chapter is going to come out. Like, I understand that we're not going to get a new chapter for a while, but we haven't even gotten a date for when the next chapter is going to come out. That's how serious the whole Berserk situation is. And I understand Berserk is a hard series to make, so I'm not going to complain about it. And it is Berserk, which is known for hiatus, so it's kind of normal at this point. Now, all the manga on this list are going to be ongoing series that are still publishing chapters and have published at least one chapter this year. It can't be a series like, as I said, Berserk, which had a chapter in December of 2022 but has not had a single one in this year, despite still being ongoing. So I can't include Berserk, I can't include Hunter x Hunter, but there are some very good series that I can include, regardless of these circumstances. Here are the greatest manga of 2023 so far. So the first one is the most obvious one. Everyone saw this coming. It's going to be One Piece. I understand the controversy behind this series. I'm particularly not a fan of the pacing of One Piece, of certain parts of the story. There's a reason I've dropped the manga a bunch of times. It's because I genuinely don't enjoy some parts of the story. So it's not to say that I'm the biggest One Piece fan. I'm just going to include it here because I am. It's specifically about the chapters that have been dropped this year. And when we're talking about One Piece and chapters dropped this year, we are 4 for 4 so far. All 4 of the chapters that have been dropped in this year have been bangers and have been incredibly important to the progression of the story, which is very unlike One Piece because you usually see incredibly inconsistent streaks of insane moments to just filler content. But so far this year, we've kind of had no filler content and mostly just very important reveals. The biggest thing is the CP9 situation with Stussy and that whole reveal, which I'm not going to get into, but it was definitely wild to say the least. There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on with the Navy, particularly with Kuma. Obviously, we got introduced to Vegapunk a while back and his plotline is still ongoing. We're getting a lot of reveals as to like devil fruits and this whole scientific aspect of One Piece's story, which to be honest has a lot to do with a lot of the important parts of the story. So it's mostly just plot reveals and understanding the story and the situations a lot better, but the way Oda's executing it is just making these recent chapters much more enjoyable and definitely making me reconsider what I said about One Piece earlier in this statement. One of my favorite moments in the recent chapters is the whole situation with Garp and how we get a glimpse of what he is going to be doing in the next few chapters. I don't know if it's going to be the next few chapters, but eventually Garp is going to be doing something that is crazy and I kind of already see where that's going to go. And yeah, just catch up to One Piece, man. Catch up. While One Piece does have its peaks and valleys, I do think that so far in 2023, this manga has just been beautiful. There's been a lot of ups and downs before it. The whole Wano arc could have literally been trimmed down to like 100 chapters or 150 chapters. But hey, we're done with Wano now, and this arc so far, especially in 2023, has been really, really good. Now, speaking of shonen, let's talk about a series that you're probably not caught up with. I will literally bet money that you're not caught up with the series. There are only a select few people watching this video that are the chads that are caught up to Hajime no Ippo, okay? I understand that this manga is over 1,400 chapters long. But I swear to you, once you get caught up, this series is literally one of the greatest things you'll ever witness. if you read all of Hajime no Ippo and it's not in your top 10 or top 15, then I don't know why you read through the whole thing. It probably will be, because no matter what your tastes are in a manga, Hajime no Ippo will probably be something you enjoy, okay? Now let me talk about the specifics as to why this manga is so good in 2023. So it's dropped the most chapters out of everything I'm going to be talking about in this video. It's dropped 5 whole chapters, which is pretty crazy considering the amount of breaks that Morikawa likes to go on. Now, yes, being a story that's extremely long, there are a lot of sections that do get milked a crazy amount, and I will say I'm not a fan of this milking process, but I can't deny the genius of the fight we just witnessed. The recent fight between 2 specific characters that we kind of saw like nothing of throughout the course of these 1,000+ chapters was incredible. The culmination of these 2 storylines together, I mean, finally seeing Ricardo being pushed somewhat to his limit in itself is worthy of having Hajime no Ippo on this list. What Morikawa was able to do was take a fight and a reveal that we were kind of disappointed by and turned it into one of the best showings from these 2 characters in the entire story, because again, they were kind of shoved to the side throughout the course of the story. And while I'm still waiting on Ippo's return and his comeback, the entire sequence from the late 1300s to the early 1400s were some of the best parts of late Hajime no Ippo, and I can't even stress enough how worth it is to catch up to Hajime no Ippo. Especially if you want a series to be invested in, Hajime no Ippo will be the series for you, and even more especially if you like boxing, because in case you didn't notice, this is a boxing manga, and what's crazy is I'm not even that into boxing, and I absolutely love this story. Okay, let's talk about another shonen series, except this one you're gonna have even heard of less than Hajime no Ippo, which is crazy. Like, how is this even possible? On the contrary to Hajime no Ippo having 1,400 chapters, let's talk about a series that barely uploads chapters and only dropped a single one in 2023, but was able to make it onto this list. The Gray Man is on this list. Okay, I understand The Gray Man is a series that probably -3 of you have seen, but it's something special. I've made a whole video on The Gray Man. It's done pretty well, to be fair. There is kind of a cult following to the series, and I mean the series is something special. For shonen series to build the main character and the storyline that the Gray Man has built, it is very, very rare that you get to see something like this. The Gray Man is known for its wild twists and turns, and in just one chapter, it left me speechless and basically forced me to put it onto this list. I mean, the full translations aren't even out yet, which, you know, you can kind of debate me as to like whether or not this would actually count as a chapter, but I'm not going to get into that because it counts as a chapter. But the Alan flashback we are currently experiencing in the manga is getting to be as good as the Kanda flashback, which was one of the best things I've ever witnessed in terms of a flashback in a shonen story, especially. Like, everyone talks about these One Piece flashbacks and how sad they are, but the execution of the paneling in The Gray Man is some of the best I've ever seen. It is a lot like seinen execution of moments in a shonen series, and in a series that honestly seems like a kid's show, but is not at all once you get really deep into the story. Obviously, the foreshadowing connection to these reveals just happens seamlessly, and Hoshino is incredibly talented at doing this, as we've seen previously in the story, but especially in the recent chapters and the most recent chapter that was released this year. Alan's character, the protagonist of the story, continues to grow with the addition of this new chapter. It seems like every new chapter since like the beginning of this backstory has just been continuous growth and development of his character, and I'm absolutely loving it. It does really suck how a lot of people aren't caught up to The Gray Man and don't even read The Gray Man, because it's easily one of the best shonen out there, and there's no debate about that. I mean, this story is something else. Finally, we're going to be talking about a seinen series that is ongoing right now that is worthy of being considered one of the greatest manga of 2023, and that is Kingdom. Kingdom is, bro, I'm going to keep promoting Kingdom until this shit becomes the next Berserk, because it is undoubtedly the best seinen manga going out right now. I don't care. I take back what I said. Berserk is up there too, but I would literally put Kingdom right beside Berserk with how good it is right now, especially with the consistency of Kingdom. Obviously, Berserk is kind of untouchable. It's like the king of seinen, but Kingdom is right there, man. Kingdom is something special right now. Riboku versus Kanki is literally one of the coolest fights in recent years in the story of Kingdom. I can't even explain it. It's almost like Hara just built these 2 characters up purposely for being like this huge climax at this point in the story, because we follow these 2 characters around almost like they're 2 main characters of the story, even though neither of them are main characters of the story, which is just crazy to think about. A lot of times in Kingdom, I have the impression that the side of our protagonist is going to win, and in fact this goes for a lot of other series I watch. I mean, you think about like a lot of other stories, you think the winning side is most of the time going to be the protagonist side, and that goes for Kingdom at certain points of the story as well. But right now, if you put a gun to my head head and told me to pick who is going to win this battle between Riboku and Kanki, I could not pick because it's up and down after up and down, and the contrast between the strategical genius of these two characters. It's like one chapter we have Riboku like, I've got you now, Kanki, I've got you in my trap, and we're like, holy crap, there's no way he's gonna come back from this. Next chapter, Kanki comes back from it. It's just, and then it's back and forth from there. I mean, I can't even explain to you the number of times we've seen something like, I've got you now, bitch. And then the next chapter, they don't got him now. But yeah, Kingdom has been one of my favorite manga of all time, and the last 4 chapters continue to add on to it and continue to make it push up higher and higher onto my favorite manga list. And this story is something special, and the last 4 chapters have definitely proved that. Those are 4 manga, the 4 greatest manga of 2023 so far. There's going to be many new things coming out. I'm really hoping Vinland Saga makes a big move this year. I've been waiting for something big to happen with that story, but it's just not happening so far. I'm waiting for Berserk to come back, obviously, but I don't have my hopes up for that because obviously it takes a long time for Berserk to upload chapters. I'm not even going to mention Vagabond because if that thing comes back, you best believe I'm going to be doing cartwheels and backflips and just screaming my head off, because if Vagabond comes out and Vagabond's ongoing at the same time as Berserk, my life is complete. Regardless, let me know your thoughts. What are some of your favorite ongoing manga right now? Drop some manga recommendations in the comments if you feel like it, because I haven't read something in a long time. That's it for me though. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later.